Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're going to be looking at the state of Illinois and what they are going to do for their redistricting process and just some cool maps that I thought I'd share. So first I do have two announcements for just for this video actually I should say. So first, thank you all so much for 5,000 subscribers. I truly appreciate the support that I've gotten on this channel. Uh, I think I uploaded my first video in April of 2020, and it's been deleted because the quality is absolutely terrible. But thank you so much for all the support you guys have given me over the past year. This channel has become a huge part of my life, and I have you guys to thank for that. So even if you're about to dislike this video, thank you for watching this video. I really do appreciate it, and to those who go the extra mile, to those who have donated to me on Patreon, to those who have donated to me through YouTube memberships, to those who follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram. Uh, I think I have a what else? I think I have a I don't know, but I think yeah, people who are in the Discord server. That's another one. So thank you all so much for everything that you have done for me, and I truly appreciate it. And if I ever forget that, remind me, because the support you guys have given me, I cannot repay you. Second, I am now back from Washington, D.C. I had a really fun time there, but unfortunately, my number one priority when I was on vacation was not to be uploading YouTube videos, so I was uploading a lot less than I usually am. But now that I'm back, and I'm probably going to be staying back here where I live, California, for presumably the rest of the summer, I should be fine, and I will continue to upload daily or every other day, probably every other day. So let's get into it. First, before I get started with this video, I'm going to show you a tweet. There's something I tweeted. So I woke up at 7:15. I got up pretty early because I was still on East Coast time, but I tweeted. As I got up, I saw the news with Kentucky likely staying at 5-1 in favor of the Republicans, which is the current map, and Cleaver apparently not being drawn out in Missouri. He's the Kansas City Democrat representing the representing most of the I guess western part of Missouri. Those are two really big losses for the GOP. Yet another reason why the House is not safe Republican in 2022. Now, I'm not saying that Democrats are going to win the House in 2022. I would not go that far. I am, however, going to say that the House is lean Republican, 55 to 60% chance that the Republicans win the House. But that's nothing to sneeze at, because in a midterm, you take a 40% chance of winning the House, historically speaking. You would take a fighting chance to hold Congress in the midterms. Democrats are favored to win the Senate right now in 2022, and they've in my book, they've got a real shot at winning the House, because 4 months ago I would have said the GOP could just gerrymander their way to a majority, but they're not going to do that. They don't have the ability to do that. Democrats have really exceeded my expectations when it comes to these congressional maps, and Kentucky is another big loss for the GOP. Now, I know it's only one seat. I'm not saying that one seat is going to determine the House majority, but that's still a really, really, really big loss for the GOP, because if Republicans in Texas are seeing, well, the GOP had the chance to draw Jimmy Yarmouth, they could have easily just drawn him out. I can draw a map in 5 minutes where the Republicans win each district by at least 15%. That draws out Jimmy Yarmouth. If if Texas sees that, maybe they're saying, okay, well, originally we might have planned to have the GOP lose, or to have GOP gain 4 seats. Maybe we're only going to make it 2 or 3 to avoid a lawsuit, because this is a pattern we're seeing. We saw it in Missouri, and now we're going to see it in Kentucky. So that is a huge part of what the GOP strategy is for 2022, and it's not going to be as effective as we thought at first. So just so I get that out of the way, now talking about Illinois. This is on my Democratic gerrymander. So this is not a great map. I originally had a 17-0 map, but I actually deleted it a while ago. I made it in like February or something, so I deleted it. But this is the map you have here. You have a Republican pack, and by the way, it is possibly like a 17-0 map. I think that goes without saying. So I have a Republican pack down here, just designed to pack all the rural areas down south into one big Republican district that would be super Republican. I think like 68 to 30 in 2020 present data, which is the data set that I'm using. Then you have a snake district down here that goes from the I think majority black areas down here that are Democratic up to Carbondale, and then you have East St. Louis, kind of shoring it off. Then you go up to whatever this is. I'm not going to pretend like I know where that is. Alton, and Edwardsville. Then you go up to Springfield, the capital city, and grab most of Decatur. So that's the first downstate Democratic district. The second is a Peoria-based district, which I think is the most suitable for the GOP. So the reason that I think this district will be pretty solid for Democrats, that they probably win it by 5 or 7% most of the time, is because Joe Biden had this is 2020 president data. Joe Biden had a really bad downstate performance in Illinois. He underperformed Dick Durbin. He underperformed even in 2016 with the Democrats beating an incumbent Republican senator by like 9 points. He severely underperformed Tammy Duckworth in 2016. Like you can see, downstate gets a lot friendlier to Democrats using 2016 data. Now I know that some of these other districts do not get friendlier to Democrats. We'll talk about that in a second. But Tammy Duckworth had a better downstate performance than Joe Biden. So did Dick Durbin. If you can see right here, Dick Durbin did better, 2 or 3 points better in this district than Joe Biden. So that is a seat that the Democratic Party, I think they'd win. It would be close for sure, but they'd probably win it. Now, this seat is the most suitable for the GOP, mostly because you have a lot of rural areas mixed with some urban areas that could easily be, the district could be flipped because of turnout. So you have Peoria, Bloomington, and Champaign. Those would be areas that the Democratic Party would really have to rely on to win this district. And, they'd be favored, I would say, but not necessarily by a lot. This would be the most competitive seat in Illinois. Then we have these districts that are just kind of snakes from the Chicago suburbs up to some more Democratic areas, kind of reinforcing that. So, for example, let's draw on labels to refer to these districts. So, for the 10th district, you have the Chicago suburbs in Lake County, which are still super blue, and from Waukegan as well. Then you go out kind of to these rural areas, and it's reinforced by Rockford. Rockford, the city, pretty Democratic area, reinforces this seat to make it, I think, D plus 8 or 9. Then you go kind of up to here. This is the 9th district, and you have the Chicago suburbs. You grab the Chicago suburbs that are pretty blue, go out here, and then you get reinforced by the Davenport area that kind of stretches across from Iowa and into Illinois. So that's the turn of these districts. Then you have a couple suburban districts on their own that are, likely D, safe D, pretty much. Then you have Chicago. So it is possible you could just, like, if you want to make a really cursed map, you can just draw these districts out to make a 70-0 map. But that's what I have for this gerrymander. It's not a great map. I'm sure that anyone could spend 20 minutes and make a much better gerrymander where you can make each district, D plus 10 at least. But that's my Democratic gerrymander for Illinois. Now, going over to our Republican gerrymander, I'm actually pretty proud of this map. Now, you can actually make, a 9 to 8 map in favor of the Republicans using 2020 president data. You can actually make, I believe, a 10 to 7 map, but I didn't think that at first, because the first thing I did with this map is I just packed the Democrats into seats in Chicago. My original plan was to do a 12 to 5 Republican map, but that wasn't possible, as I soon realized, so I kind of packed them into as many districts, or to as few districts as I could. Each of these districts is super, super Democratic. Just look at these numbers. It's ridiculous. 84% Democrat, 74% Democrat, 84% Democrat, 91% Democrat, by the way. 78% Democrat, 65% Democrat, 61% Democrat, and the most competitive would be a 60% Democrat district, the 9th Congressional District, which we're going to see which one that is. I believe it's actually this one up here. Yeah, no, it's the 6th. The 9th would be this one. So you do see these seats being very safe for the Democratic Party. These seats down here being competitive, and there are actually 3 safe downstate districts, which I think I could have done better with. I think I could have eliminated the Democratic district by kind of bringing the downstate area up here to Chicago, which I guess I should have formatted my map around. I should have formatted kind of grabbing as much downstate as I could, then going up to Chicago, but I didn't do that. So I guess that's some constructive criticism for myself. I might update this map and post it on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter, by the way. Please do. At UEP_YouTube. But yeah. So that's what this map looks like here. Not too much to say about it. It's an ugly map that would never pass because the Democrats have complete control of the state. So, yeah, you can kind of switch around some data sets. The Democrats, Durbin would have actually carried 2 of these districts that Joe Biden would have lost. And then you can see, I think Tammy Duckworth in 2016 would have done a lot better downstate, but worse in the suburbs. And this district would have been a little more competitive. So, yeah, that will be it for the Republican gerrymander. Now, this is our fair map. This is a fair map of Illinois. So, the first district is simply just rural areas in the south. It's super red. I think it's the reddest district of these, I believe. I could be wrong because you do have a little bit of what I believe is Carbondale and East St. Louis. So that's still a pretty red district. I think the first district is the R plus 25. Yeah, R plus 25. So it is the reddest congressional district. Then you have the second district, which is just Springfield and the surrounding rural areas. Other than Springfield, basically no Democratic areas. There are some down here, which Edwardsville and Alton, which as I mentioned in the previous map, I did not know the cities existed until 10 minutes ago. But yeah, now in the third district, you have kind of I think it's the most competitive of these three safe Republican districts down here. It is indeed it's R plus 21. This is R plus 23, not R plus 25. So we kind of have Champaign, Decatur, and Charleston being the main Democratic areas, as well as Danville. Forgot to mention that. And then you just have super red surrounding rural areas. So that District 3 has a Republican lean. Now, Districts 4 and 6. So District 4 is kind of just some mid-sized cities like Peoria and Bloomington that shift the district to the left, but other than that, super red rural areas. 6th district is just the Chicago exurbs, excuse me, plus I believe Joliet, wherever Joliet is. Yeah, where is Joliet actually? I thought it was up here somewhere. Okay, apparently. Oh no, it's wrong district. So Dayton DeKalb. I don't know what's the Dayton. I was thinking of the city in Ohio would make this district more competitive, but still pretty safe. Now the most competitive district in this map would be the 5th district. It was Trump plus 6, I believe. Trump plus 5. But I do believe, in fact, that using the 2012 to 2016 composites, a blue district, it would have been won by Barack Obama by, I think, 6%. Hillary Clinton would have lost it by 3 or 4. So it is a narrow blue district, but using the most accurate data set, most recent data set, it would have gone to Trump by 5% in 2020. So it is a Republican trending district. To win a Democrat's probably have to win a populist, more rural type Democrat. But it's flippable for sure, especially if they or they could just get really high turnout from Rockford and Davenport. So they've got that going for them. Then the most competitive Democratic leaning district will be the 13th, which has Joliet, which is a more working class area, plus the suburbs of Chicago. Joliet is shifting to the right, but other than that, these suburbs, especially these Republican leaning ones, are getting bluer and bluer. So, and Joe Biden would have won this district by 9, by the way. So I don't see it flipping. It's possible, but I just don't think it would flip, realistically speaking. So yeah. Now, going up to the 12th district, the other non-safe district that we have, this is just Chicago suburbs, nothing else to call it. It's kind of on the further side of this suburb, so it is more competitive than some of these other suburban districts, like the 14th, but still pretty safe for the Democratic Party. Then you just have some Chicago districts. The map I actually do think is VRA compliant because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 majority-minority districts. I think there are 5 in the current map, but with their shedding one, I think you can make an argument for Illinois getting 4 majority-minority districts, but yeah, so that's it for the fair map. Now, to take a look at what I think is going to happen, before we do that, I want to give credit to God of Politics for making this map. So he made this map, he posted a screenshot on Twitter and then posted a link, which I really do thank him for. But there were a couple minor errors. The 13th was a little buggy. There were some non-contiguous parts. I just kind of cleaned up the map for 2 minutes. But he did make the map. He made 99% of the map. So credit to God of Politics. Do subscribe to him. So, yeah. Now, this is what the Democrats in Illinois are probably going to do, because they have J.B. Pritzker, the Democratic governor, and a Democratic state senate just going to be drawing the map. They can basically do whatever they want as long as it's VRA compliant, because Republicans are really going to get hosed in Illinois redistricting. They don't have really a filibuster or anything to prevent the Democrats from just drawing an easy map. So, like I said earlier, you can draw a 17 to 0 or a 16 to 1 map, but that would not be VRA compliant, or it would be very, very hard to do. It would be too crazy to even consider. So instead, the Democrats are probably going to really gerrymander it to draw a 14 to 3 map. My only complaint with this map is that this district, I think this is the 3rd district. That's the 17th. Whoops, that was really off. The 17th district, you can actually make it a little more solid for Democrats, but again, it's still, I think using 2020 president data, the 17th was D plus 2.5, so lean Democrat. But Democrats would still probably hold it in a state like Illinois, where they generally do better in swing districts. Now, so this district right here, the 13th, is the ugliest for sure. It goes from East St. Louis up to Springfield and to Decatur, then grabbing Champaign and Bloomington. Just kind of a pack of the precincts downstate that are Democratic leaning. Then you have another one. You kind of grab the 17th goes from Peoria to Davenport up to Rockford to make a kind of a tri-Democrat region. Then some blood red rural areas. Other than that, but that would still be a super competitive district that would be leaning towards the Democrats. Could flip in a red wave, could flip if Democrats had bad turnout from areas like Rockford or Davenport, but that didn't happen in 2020. And if Joe Biden won it, and where he did really bad in the rural areas up here, I bet it would the Democrats lean to likely Democrat. This seat would be, I think, this seat, I think you can actually turn on data set that would make the 13th safe. Like the 2016 Senate race, it would have been, how much would Tim Duckworth have won it by? She would have won it by 12. So you can make this seat pretty safe using certain data sets, or maybe governor 2018, I'm not sure. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for that district. That's president 2020. Senator 2020, Durham did a little better downstate than Biden, but yeah. Then you have the Chicago suburbs. These seats, Joe Biden did well in the suburbs, but that trend is going to continue, and it wasn't only a Trump thing, as we've talked about way too many times, but these districts in Chicago should stay with the Democratic Party. I really want to talk about that too much. I just thought the 17th and 13th were more interesting. Then you have the 16th, the 15th, and the 12th being all, Republican PAC districts. So, yeah, that's what I think the Democrats are going to do in Illinois. So, you got an extra map. This is what they're going to likely do. My redistricting prediction for Illinois. But, yeah, so that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you all in the next one.